The Shepnaz Podcast begins now.
Welcome to the Shepnaz Podcast. I'm Joe, and I'm your host today. And we are visited today by some of our youth and Pastor Bryanna, and we're going to be talking about their recent trip to Nashville. So welcome in, Pastor Bryanna.
Thank you.
Would you like to tell us who our honored guests are? Because they aren't on camera yet, and they've been just sitting there quietly, not contributing yet, waiting for their introduction.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, we have Austin Pressley.
Hello.
He is going to be a junior.
Sophomore.
I get you and MK mixed up. You guys are a year apart. He's going to be a sophomore. I think the reason why I said that is because you're about to get your license.
Yes.
And in my mind, I got my license when I was a junior. So in a few weeks, right?
26.
Yeah. He's almost 16. That's a big step. So watch out. Just be a little extra cautious. And, after that date when you're driving, just be on the lookout. And then we have Cheeto, Lucas, LeMay, but we call him Cheeto.
AKA Cheeto.
Yeah. But you probably recognize them. They serve on the tech team, so they're always serving around the church, and they're very helpful. Also, Cheeto's a senior, so yeah. But we're excited to have you guys here today.
Now, I was going to say, Austin, the reason I would think of you as a junior is just because you're so mature in the way you act. So
Appreciate
I would think, seems like. But then I found out, you're just older for your grade. Yep. So, all right, that works too. All right, so Bryanna, tell us a little bit about this trip that you guys went on, if you would.
Yeah, so we traveled down to Nashville for the Becoming Conference, which was hosted by Trevecca Nazarene University. We actually were connected through Pastor Joey, who's no longer here with us, but that almost sounded like he died.
He's no longer here.
No longer here. Wow. Pastor Joey, if you're listening to this, but he had at his previous church had taken students, and they had a great time. So we were like, let's just go for it. First of all, it's a good opportunity for our students to see another Nazarene college. Pretty much all of them have been to Mount Vernon, but it was a cool chance for them to kind of see what's out there. And also, this conference was great for two reasons. The first is part of it is serving opportunities, which we really tried to encourage our students to get involved in serving in any way that we can. So half of our group got to be a part of the Mission Nashville experience, which we'll go into that later. But then the second half of it is the yes track for students that have essentially said yes to the call to ministry, and Austin is called to ministry. So I thought it was perfect for him to get to go, and he got to learn a lot, and he'll share more about that too. So that's really one of the reasons we wanted to check it out, and overall we had a really great experience. Nice.
Well, so we're going to kind of break this up for both today and tomorrow. So we'll kind of get into each of your stories, but we'll hit some commonalities here first. So, we already know from what Cheeto told us before we even started recording that Austin was the loneliest.
Yes, he was the loneliest.
I was the only one in the group who went down the yes path.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But the rest of us decided to do missions.
Go down the no path.
Yes. The path most taken.
All right. So when you said that he was the loneliest, it was because of the people in the group. He was the only one that went this particular track, and you all went the other track. So, I guess we'll go the wide path first. If you would, Cheeto, tell us a little bit about what the path that most people took.
Well, the one that most people took led to, and this was a phrase we used a lot. They ended up kind of serving us more than we served them, because the places we went to, one was Stars, was it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was about helping teens in that Nashville area. Just sort of kind of like a homeless shelter style?
Yeah, I'll say this briefly. It's essentially this big building where there's different nonprofits that their offices are there. So they have Big Brother, Big Sister program. They have Boys and Girls Club, and then STARS specifically works with teens and kind of like prevention for substance abuse. So they like raise awareness on, like possible, trying to prevent students from going down those paths. So they have like different, like, I'm trying to think, like resources for them. They do trainings at schools and things like that. So that's where we were serving the first day. So you can continue.
We got to one of the options that they had was there was like a thing where we would package like a Narcan in, which we didn't get to do that. We didn't get that lucky, but we did get to cut out little hands.
Wow,
that these kids
if that
made.
was the best option.
No.
How far down does it go from there?
It goes down.
So just to intervene, I feel like we need to add a little bit more explanation. So yes,
I like how he just like does a little truth bomb, and then like we cut to Bryanna like, and here's the real explanation.
Yeah, he is correct. So we were partnered with another church when we went, and so half of like the other church got to build Narcan kits, and then we were able to. So we were working with STARS, but then we went to the Boys and Girls Club, which I think that was it. But they have their symbols like two hands holding each other. So they had done like this craft activity with their students where they like outlined their hand and then they like colored it, and they're making like a mural. So we got to cut the hands out.
Yes.
and so.
I see. All right. So tell us a little bit about your experience with. So, how many were in your wide group?
Our wide group?
Yeah.
Oh man, that was probably say about 14 kids.
Okay.
For us, and then there was obviously adult leaders. There was probably about 5 or 6 of those. So there were more kids there than there were adults. So it was definitely more oriented towards the teens and raising the awareness to their fellow teens, because most kids will listen to other kids before they listen to an adult.
So while you're doing this, now, was this just like the first day? How many days were you guys there all together?
We were there for a total of four-ish days.
Like 2 full days.
2 full days.
Yeah, we arrived on Wednesday evening. We left Saturday morning.
Okay.
So there were 2 days of actually doing stuff. The first was going to STARS and getting the awareness of that and the training of that. And then the second day was at the zoo, at the Nashville Zoo. So.
All right. So was that just like fun time, or are you doing stuff there?
We were going around with
cutting out things for the animals.
Hey, some of those animals,
Yeah, right. They need help.
Yeah. But they actually, at the Nashville Zoo, they had a teen program where they would have these kids like be around in carts, and if anyone had a question about a certain animal that they were assigned to, they would have a whole thing about describing interesting facts about that animal. So I got to go around 3 or 4 times to various animals. And some of them didn't come out at all. Some of them hid in the shade because it was quite hot. So they were luckier than we were. They did supply us with water, though, so that was nice. So we pretty much got to hang out with those teens all day, pretty much. And then occasionally we'd run into Bryanna and our 2 other leaders, Aaron and Morgan.
All right. So the first day you're working with the brother-sister thing, and then the second day you're at the zoo. Tell us a little bit about like the off time when you weren't actually doing the program. Like, where you guys staying? What you eating?
Man.
What was the trip part like?
Oh, I'm the guy to talk about the eating. Oh my goodness, it was like a buffet style. We got the university food, so it was very nice.
And this is Trevecca, right?
Yes, Trevecca. Oh my goodness, that was the other part of the conference. It was kind of like a Trevecca college visit, I guess.
Commercial.
Yeah, it was a commercial essentially.
Yeah.
A very good commercial. It was interactive, but the food was very good. The first day we were fully there, they had breakfast for us, and the eggs a lot of people didn't like them, surprisingly, but I very much did. It was sort of a wraparound buffet and all that stuff. And it was really good. And then we went to and had worship at in one of their main assembly areas, which is kind of a good day to, start your day before you go out and serve.
Nice.
So.
And do you want to mention the other? So part of this, it's like serving and a conference. So every night we had worship and like speakers. And do you want to like elaborate on that anymore?
Yeah, the speakers were very good. We all agreed that we liked the speakers. That was actually one of the few times that Austin was with us. So he wasn't lonely for that. And so they very much went into topics that we hadn't really seen, like MVNU and stuff. So that kind of made us more intrigued by it. So the speakers were very varied. You had some people that were like kind of quiet, and some people that had been in ministry all over the world and missionaries and stuff. It was really nice.
So was there a particular message or a particular takeaway for you from this? I mean, I know from other either conferences or experiences that you've had, you kind of had a takeaway from that. Was there something from this week that you felt like this was what I was supposed to get out of it?
Well, their whole thing was about becoming the person that God has you to be. And it kind of showed me that you never really fully find that person. It's sort of like a journey that you come up with your entire life. So the journey's never really over until, you go to heaven.
All right. So I'm going to put you on the spot.
You're going to put me on the spot.
Which, by the way, get ready because Austin, yours is coming tomorrow.
All right.
So tell us a little bit about your spiritual walk. Like how has your faith evolved over the years? I mean, I know, and everybody's seen you around at church from when you were really teeny tiny. And like, for me, I also grew up in the church, and there came a point in my life where I realized, it's great that my parents have this faith and they're taking their kids to church, but at some point, this has to translate to a personal relationship for me. And there was one time specifically that I remember, and my dad probably didn't think it was that big of a deal at the time, but there was some preacher on the radio we were listening to, and he turned to me and said, someday you have to make that decision for yourself. And like that echoed in my mind for a while, because it was just a reality check that it wasn't just going to happen by osmosis. So tell us, I've given you time now. Tell us a little bit about your walk and where you, what your relationship has been like.
It very much did start out like all those kids who have been raised in the church. It's kind of like, that thing that you do every Sunday. But then once I got into the youth group in various, messages from both the time when Jason and Mindy were here and when Bryanna has been here, I've definitely seen and heard from them both multiple times that, it has to be more than just your parents' religion, because that your parents believing in God ain't going to get you into heaven. You got to do it for yourself. And that's definitely led me down a path to, seek to make my own relationship with him, which definitely has kicked up a notch this year, because there's been, obviously, when you go to not a Christian school, you definitely are combated with these certain things. And that definitely caused me to step back and realize I need to strengthen my faith. So that definitely led me to take some time to reflect on myself and kind of go, what can I do to better that? And that led me to starting my own thing where I have recently done, I read a verse every morning and every night. So when I wake up and go to bed, I always put him first and last in my day. And then also I pray right before I go to bed. So that's sort of me reinforcing and building onto the relationship.
Well, and also I can speak to this. You've definitely been doing the serve aspect of it as well, and I'm sure Bryanna can echo that, where you're helping out especially now as an upperclassman, kind of helping out in the leadership in the group, and also in serving in the tech team, and it's not uncommon during the summers. I can remember like last summer, like every time I came to the church, you were here. So we really appreciate seeing that growth in you, and this wasn't meant to be an intervention. You're doing just fine.
I definitely did. Yeah, that part in me was definitely instilled by my dad, because he definitely hounded into me that the work is plenty, but the workers are few.
Amen. All right. Well, we are going to leave it there for today, and tomorrow we're going to put Austin in the hot seat. And we'll get to hear a little more about him and how he overcame his loneliness while he was in Nashville. If you want to keep up with everything that's going on in the church, go to shepnaz.org. Also, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. For Cheeto, otherwise known as Lucas LeMay, Austin Pressley, and Pastor Bryanna, I'm Joe. Have a great day. This podcast is a production of the Shepherd Church of the Nazarene, Gahanna, Ohio. Email to podcast@shepnaz.org and let us know what you think.